So, we continue our discussion on the Srimad Bhagavatam from where we left yesterday. In our discussion yesterday, we were talking about the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam and how in the first canto in Naimisharanya the 80,000 sages come and Shaunak Rishi, representing the 80,000 sages, asks Suta Goswami 6 questions which we discussed yesterday. And the answers to these 6 questions are given in chapter 2 and chapter 3 of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In chapter 4, Shaunak Rishi asks Suta Goswami a question about Shukadeva Goswami and Vyasdev. How and why did Vyasdev compile the Srimad Bhagavatam? So we hear about the birth of Shukadeva Goswami from the womb of his mother at the age of about 16 and leaving home immediately. And we also hear the reason why Vyasdev compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasdev, after having explained all the Vedic literatures, divided the one Veda into 4, then giving the Upanishads, the Puranas, the Mahabharata, the Vedanta Sutra, is still dissatisfied. So internally, Vyasdev concludes through his prayer that he is dissatisfied because of not having glorified bhakti or the process of devotional service exclusively. Right at that time, Narad Muni arrives there, and although Vyasdev is a Shaktiavesh avatar and has concluded to himself in his dejection about the reason of his pain and dissatisfaction, he still asks Narad Muni to confirm it. And therefore, although one may feel something in the heart, unless one confirms it externally through the guidance of a spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, one cannot take one's heart's feeling to be the conclusion. Vyasdev is God, Shaktiavesh avatar of God, and he still consults Narad Muni. We even find Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who is God. But when he is chanting the holy name and is going mad, he goes to his Guru and says, Kiba mantra dilago sai, kiba tara bol, jopite jopite mana hoilo pagal. I don't know what is the power of this mantra. He is in a state of divine ecstasy. And in ecstasy, he is still consulting spiritual master. So 2 gods are showing. One is Vyasdev, who is a Shaktiavesh avatar, and one is Lord Chaitanya, who is Avatari Purush. Both these gods are showing what is the importance of Guru. One in the state of dejection. Vyasdev is dejected, doesn't know what the cause of his despondency is, knows, yes, it is, I haven't glorified bhakti. Still asks Narad Muni, is that true? And Lord Chaitanya is not dejected. He is in ecstasy chanting the holy name. And he is going to Ishwar Puri and saying, Kiba mantra dila gosai, kiba tara bol, japite japite mano hoilo pagal. What is the cause of my ecstasy? So whether one is in despondency or whether one is in ecstasy, one cannot do away with the guidance of the spiritual master. One cannot take spiritual life in one's own hands and conclude based on one mental trips that I am doing fine. And the problem is, unless one goes to a bona fide guru and a bona fide guide, there is a lot of confusion in the mind. One can think, one can take what is not right to be right, and one can take right to be wrong, Therefore we find here, Vyasdev confirming from Narad Muni. Narad Muni, of course, goes on to tell his personal story. After having glorified bhakti, Narad Muni tells Vyasdev how the process of bhakti transformed him from a son of a maid servant to Narad Muni. And he talks about the most important limb of bhakti, which is service to the Bhakti Vedantas. Service to the Vaishnavas, service to the great souls, brings him such blessings that he is a transformed person. And last class, yesterday morning, we concluded Jai Shri Radha Gokulanand ki Jai, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Yesterday we concluded that the crux of bhakti is getting blessings. Getting the blessings of Shri Guru, getting the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, and getting the blessings of the Vaishnavas by pleasing them. We have one brahmachari in Chopati, and this brahmachari is a chartered accountant by profession. Being a chartered accountant, he saves every penny, every farthing. He doesn't allow 1 paisa to go here and there. And sometimes our other brahmacharis complain about him. Let go, man. Krishna is sending, Prabhupada is sending, give. But he is on saving. Why should we just squander money? So he is really particular. And when he gets into the accounts department and sits on his seat as a brahmachari, heading the whole finance department, practically speaking, accounts department. And he's so particular and gets into the nitty-gritties of accounting. And he's totally involved into it. And he's been there now for about 14, 15 years. And this devotee has been always aspiring. I want to study the Srimad Bhagavatam. I want to study the Srimad Bhagavatam. But after about 8 hours of studying account sheets, balance sheets, to change the mode from passion to goodness and compassion, very tough. So he was saying that I have been trying hard to study the Srimad Bhagavatam, but it just seems so difficult. How many of you have that experience? That after having just gone into the mode of doing things, activities, if Grihastha is working, if Brahmachari is just preaching, going, managing, then to sit and absorb the mind in the Srimad Bhagavat is so difficult because it is an activity of the mode of goodness. It requires tremendous amount of mode of goodness to sit, focus, get into it and understand, So he was saying it's just so difficult. For so many years I haven't studied. And someone gave him an Australian edition of the 1-volume Srimad Bhagavatam. You know that one? Everything's in one book. And he was so ecstatic because he thought my static devotional service will now become ecstatic. That the Bhagavatam has come. It is Krishna telling me I have to read. For several years, the 1-volume Bhagavatam remained there in his cupboard while he was taking care of the credit, debit and the balance sheets. My God. And then there's another brahmachari in our temple. He's from IIT Bombay, very qualified man. He's an engineer, an electrical engineer from the most reputed institute of the country. And this man, he just has such taste for reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. My God. He just has such taste for reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he's not even very old in Krishna consciousness. Probably about 10 years in the ashram. Such taste. And when he gets into the purports, I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance, you could listen to his talks. My God. How he gets Prabhupada's purports and catches those subtle points that Prabhupada is making. Inspires the devotees. And this devotee doesn't have a Bhagavatam set. He didn't have his personal Bhagavatam to read. So this other brahmachari who is the accountant thought, I can't study anyways. My mind is in debit, credit, penny, pound, shilling, pence, whatever. Rupees and paisa in our country, India. So he said, if I can't read, at least let me serve this devotee by giving him the Srimad Bhagavatam and let him read. So he went and he presented this Bhagavatam to his other devotee. He said, Prabhu, you have such taste for reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. I am caught in paisa and rupees. He fell at his feet, offered obeisances and said, this is my small service to you. Please, if you ever get time, just drop into the accounts office and share something. If you don't, it's okay. Just give your blessings. Just give your blessings that I can one day read the Srimad Bhagavatam. 2 years back in our farm community at Govardhan Eco Village, we started the Bhagavat Vidyapith for our brahmachari trainees, which is a 2 years course of studying the full Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, staying there. About 8 hours a day classes go on for them, and then other time of service. And then the whole temple management somehow conclusively decided we should free him. We have been asking him to do so much service, we should just free him now, let him go there and study the Srimad Bhagavatam. He didn't even ask actually, he just probably made a small desire. Said, let him go and study the Srimad Bhagavatam there, And he was allowed to go for 5 days a week. Weekend he comes and does the accounting. And when he went there, guess what? The person whom he gave the Srimad Bhagavatam to is his main teacher now. Teaching him the Srimad Bhagavatam from the very book that he gave him, And this gentleman is the topper in all the exams in the Srimad Bhagavatam now. Blessings, Power of blessings that the mind can shift to the Srimad Bhagavatam and bring it to goodness. Therefore Narad Muni very clearly told Vyasdev, it's bhakti is about blessings. I served the Bhakti Vedantas, received their blessings, and I transformed from the son of a maid servant to Narada. And then Vyasdev compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam Chakre Satvata Samhitam. And the merit of hearing this Bhagavatam we heard yesterday was freedom from shoka, moha and bhaya. Lamentation of the past, illusion about the present and fear about the future. We continue in our first canto, where Suta Goswami now starts narrating the story of Parikshit and how Shukdev Goswami started speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit. He talks about how after the battle of Kurukshetra was over and Bhima had defeated Duryodhan, the key villain in the drama, Duryodhan was lying there on the battlefield in a bloody pool of mess with his thigh practically broken, about to die, just sobbing and crying that everything had gone out of his hands. All his desires and ambitions were frustrated. Moghasha, mogha karmano, mogha jnana vichetasaha. All demoniac desires and ambitions are frustrated at the end of the day. Virtue, dharma, piety and spirituality wins. It takes a lot of patience sometimes. The Pandavas were extremely patient. Sometimes we see, why don't we just experience ecstasy immediately? Why don't we just experience, that bliss in Krishna consciousness immediately? It takes a while. It takes a while of struggles and a lot of battles before the war is won. A lot of small battles have to be won before the war is won. And yes, in Krishna consciousness there are so many battles. Day-to-day battle, week-to-week battles, month-to-month battles, year-to-year battles, till the final war of death comes. And if we have fought those battles well, we win the war. And here were the Pandavas, patiently going on, keeping their faith in Krishna. Duryodhan was lying there, practically dead. The Pandavas won. They were victorious indeed. Krishna proved virtue and dharma always wins, regardless of who follows it. It's just a question of when, but it does win, always, Duryodhan lying there, Ashwathama, his dear friend, feels such sympathy, and thinks, oh, how he's dealt with, I have to avenge and revenge the unfair killing of my dear buddy, Duryodhana, Ashwathama goes, and while the 5 sons of Draupadi are sleeping, young babies, young children, he goes and kills the 5 sons of Draupadi. Draupadi, when she sees this, she starts weeping and crying. She's in agony and anguish. My children, my babies. I'll tell you something. It's not about just children. Even when we see someone who's elderly, someone who's an adult, being killed, it's so painful, isn't it? When we see someone who's an adult, who's not even a friend, who is a rival, who's an enemy, whom we don't like at all, but he meets with an accident, and he's in a bloody pool of mess there, even then, despite his being a rival and enemy, we think, it shouldn't have been all that bad, I mean, he should have got his reactions, but not like this. We feel sympathy. You can imagine if it's young children and the mother watches those children dead. Hare Krishna. Draupadi cried and wept. Arjuna came and said to Draupadi, my dear wife, don't worry. I shall go with my Gandiva and chop off the head of Ashwathama, bring his head along with me. Then shall I wipe your tears. Cry till then, Draupadi. Doesn't matter. You can keep crying. Keep weeping tears till I kill him and bring his head here. After having wiped your tears, I'll put the head at your feet. You can step on his head, Draupadi, and then take your bath. Kshatriyas are like that, And Kshatriya ladies are also like that. Kshatranis. It's not that men are like that. Kshatriyas and Kshatranis are like that. There's something there. The mode of passion. Unless they see blood, they don't get triggered. Like devotees don't get triggered unless they see Mahaprasad. When devotees see Mahaprasad, there is tremendous inspiration to act. But for Kshatriyas, there has to be some blood, some weapon, some killing, some battle. And Arjuna is promising this to Draupadi. And Draupadi is saying, okay, fine, no problem. Although she is in agony. Krishna rides the chariot of Arjuna. This is the first appearance of Lord Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam as a person. The first time Krishna appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam is chapter 6, canto 1 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you've ever seen movies, I don't know how it's in Hollywood movies, but when you look at Bollywood movies, they're quite interesting. They always create a hype. The first time the hero is entering in the movie, you don't show his face ever. Firstly, the car comes, fast, high-speed Ferrari car just comes, rushes, and then brakes are slammed and there is a screeching sound, and it stalls there, and suddenly the door opens, and the guy walks out, and the camera is first on his lotus feet. And the camera then moves slowly from the lotus feet towards the face. And that's how a hero is introduced in a movie. You can imagine Lord Krishna. How he is introduced in this movie called the Srimad Bhagavatam. He's the hero of this movie. And the hero of this movie is introduced as a servant of his devotee. That goes to show what is of value. What is this book teaching us? The very first entry of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavatam teaches us what is this book trying to tell us and what is of true value. If you see Krishna's entry for the first time in the Gita also, Tataha Shvetair Hayair Yukte Mahati Chandane Sthitau Madhava Pandavaschaiva Divyav Shankau Pradadmatu, where Krishna is seen as the charioteer of Arjuna, both in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Bhagavad Gita. The first entry of Lord Krishna, the hero of the book, is as a servant of his devotee. And if Krishna serves his devotees, no one is an exception. Therefore, in the 11th canto, we find Lord Krishna saying to Uddhava, Mad bhaktaha pujya abhya adhikaha. My devotee is more worshipable than me. And you know something? Krishna is like the salt water of the ocean, And devotee is like the sweet water of the well. Hare Krishna. What a comparison. Krishna is like the salty water of the ocean. Can't drink it easily. And a Vaishnava is like the sweet water of a well. Very nice. Why? What is the salt in the water for Krishna? The salt in the water for Krishna is his swarat. He is independent. He chooses to deal with his devotees the way he likes. And that can be stressful sometimes. He has his plan to do surgery on us. Sometimes the surgery is without anesthesia. And then it's very painful. When the surgery is with some anesthesia, it's good. But sometimes the surgery is so serious without anesthesia, it's painful, Devotees are compared to the water in the well, sweet water. Because they don't act swarat. They act by the words of Krishna. Although Krishna gives his words in the Gita, he acts according to what he wants. But a devotee doesn't do that with other devotees. He said, Krishna may do like that with you. I can't. I am here to comfort you, don't worry. Krishna dealt with you like this. Come, cry here. I'll give you a shoulder. Come, cry. I am here to. And Krishna is, you're going through so much problem, so much suffering, so much trouble. Take a Mahasweet. Take. Morning Mangalartik, one Mahasweet comes. Oh, thank you, And going through so much depression and walk into the temple and some devotee friend comes and hugs, And you feel, my God, so good. You see? The first entry of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavatam and the Gita is as a servant of his devotee to show what the position of a Vaishnava is. To show the position of a devotee, what the position of a devotee is. I mean, if you can read these chapters and the whole first canto is talking about devotee. What the position of a devotee and a Vaishnava is. And therefore we can never take each other lightly. Never take each other lightly. We can never do that. Each one is so valuable and each one is so important to our spiritual life at all points of time in our Krishna consciousness. We can't take each other lightly. Once Srila Prabhupada said to his devotees sitting in a class, he said, if you were to know who is sitting next to you, you would faint. Now each one is looking, who is next to me? Sometimes devotees may feel, apparently useless. apparently, quote unquote, that they do nothing, they just eat prasad and grow in size, through the thick and thin of life. They never go thin, they only go thick. Sometimes they seem apparently just not doing anything. How many of you have an air conditioning in your house? None? You have? Okay, 2 of you have air conditioning in your home. How many of you have heaters in your home? Of course you do. Of course you do. Of course. How many of you have a needle and a thread in your home? Okay, great. How many of you have a scissor? A torch? You do, right? And all of those things are just lying in the home, apparently useless, isn't it? Apparently you don't use them, they're just lying there. When the time comes and the need comes, that is the one thing that works the most. Doesn't it? When something's lost and it's dark, that torch is the one thing that comes handy. I just need the torch now. In the association of devotees, someone is an air conditioner, someone's a heater, someone's a torch, someone's a needle, someone's a button, someone's a thread, and everyone has utility in service to Krishna. It's just that Krishna has to bring the right time for devotees sometimes. Some people are always engaged, some people apparently seem unengaged. But every sincere devotee, Krishna uses them, in his service. And therefore, one cannot take devotees lightly. Draupadi, Arjun, Krishna drives Arjun's chariot to where Ashwatthama is. And Ashwatthama hurls the Brahmastra, the weapon of Lord Brahma. Because he realizes, if Arjun comes, I'm gone. My head is gone. I'm sure he'll finish me. So even before he comes to fight with me, finish him off. And when he hurls the Brahmastra, Arjuna sees the Brahmastra, asks Krishna, what is this, Krishna, this glaring effulgence? Krishna says, Arjuna, it's Brahmastra hurled by Ashwatthama. Counter it. Immediately, Arjun chants the mantras to Lord Brahma to invoke his Brahmastra, and these 2 weapons meet. Whenever I read this in the Srimad Bhagavatam, I am reminded of Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana, where Ram and Ravan send their arrows and they come with all these colorful sparks. In reality, it's not like that. On television, it's like colorful red. It's like fireworks. And then they come and meet and boom, one explosion is there. But before they meet, it is 1 week. Ram sends the arrow towards Ravan. That's on Sunday. Next Sunday, it reaches Ravan. And there is some explosions. Quite something. But here it's instantaneous. It's not a television serial, by the way. It's all reality. Dramas are something else, but reality is something. In dramas, anything can happen. I heard a story about our Dwarkapuri Prabhu. Dwarkapuri Prabhu was playing the role of Kamsa, in a drama of killing of Kamsa, Krishna killing Kamsa and Chanu and Mushtika, and he had a nice wig and everything. And when Krishna comes, he just started shouting, abusing him and swearing at him, and come on, man, what the hell, I can kill you, come, you Krishna, what do you think? And, Krishna's also trying to, and suddenly while he's shouting and moving around, his wig fell off. And now there was a bald Kamsa, Brahmachari. He didn't have even natural hair. This is bald Kamsa. So he's so smart. I was amazed. He's just so smart. He just turned that situation into an opportunity. He said, this Krishna is doing this so much, and this Krishna has done so much. I'm in so much anxiety because of this Krishna. Because of that anxiety, even my hair is falling off. My God, he's quite a man. How amazing that he just turned it into and everyone applauded seeing his presence of mind. Quite amazing. Dramas and television serials are one thing. Reality is another. Weapons when they come. My God, these 2 Brahmastras, big effulgence. Krishna told Arjun, now the job is done. He's not going to kill you, but these Brahmastras will create a lot of havoc and trouble to the world. Withdraw the Brahmastras. So Arjun, by his power, withdrew both the Brahmastras, his own and Ashwatthama's, and then tied Ashwatthama like an animal and dragged him on his chariot and were going towards where Draupadi was. Krishna said to Arjun, kill him. Kill him. It's against dharma to kill little children. And in particular, children who are sleeping. And he gives a whole list of things why he shouldn't have killed the kids. Arjun is not very happy. He has his loyalty towards his guru Drona. He's the son of my guru. Kill him? Son of my spiritual master? My martial arts teacher? So he decides, not that I won't kill him, not that he wouldn't follow Krishna's order, but since I promised to Draupadi, we'll go there and see what to do. So he brings Ashwatthama and presents Ashwatthama to Draupadi. Draupadi's response is fourfold. Fourfold. There are two things happening here. Ashwatthama standing in the middle, Arjuna and Krishna in the middle. One side Draupadi, Yudhishthir, Nakul, Sahadev, everyone else, and the other side Bhima. And Bhima is saying, Arjun, kill. You know Bhima. His blood boils for justice. And the other side says, forgive. Don't we go through this in life? When we are treated in a certain way, we want justice. And some people choose to forgive. Some people want justice. Hey, this was said to me, this was done to me, I have to give it back to him. I have to give it back to him. And some people say, at the end of the day, how does it matter? What has happened. Probably it's my karma. Let it go. Let it go and I'll forgive. Both are right. Both are right. Which path do we choose depends on what level of spiritual advancement are we. We cannot artificially try to jump and forgive when our heart is pained and bruised by someone's dealings. When people go through what they go through, it's easy to say forgive. It's very easy to say forgive. When someone is abused badly, it's very easy to say forgive. But they have gone through what they have gone through. And therefore, if one has not yet reached that level, to seek justice is just justified. Just justified, it's right. On the other hand, if one wants to spiritually evolve, then those who want to spiritually evolve go beyond right and wrong. Go beyond justice or injustice. And choose to follow the line of Draupadi. Say, okay, it doesn't matter. It's not about right or wrong. I want to let it go. And I want to see it's my karma. I want to see it's Krishna's hand in it. And just make spiritual progress. One hand, Bhima is telling Arjuna, kill him! And Draupadi says to Arjuna, no. She gives four things. First, she says he's a Brahmana. Even in a situation when her sons were killed, I can't imagine such culture, Such culture and such highly evolved consciousness, unimaginable. She is the murderer of her children, 5 little children. And even in that agony and anguish, she is respecting the position of a Brahmana. When we are the victims of someone's injustice, we are not going to respect that person, no matter whether he's a Brahmana. What to speak of a Brahmana, even if he's an apparently big man, spiritually, we will not easily take it. Just let it go. He's a Brahmana. Even if he's a Brahma Bandhu, not a Brahmana, his only name a Brahmana, forget it. She respects him. Then, she expresses gratitude. Why should we forgive him? Out of respect, he's a Brahmana. Why should we forgive him? Out of gratitude. It was his father, Drona, a martial arts teacher, who taught all of you. He gave all knowledge to you. This is what you do. He's the only son. You kill him now. All right, we had to go through this. Leave it, it's all right. Gratitude towards Drona. And the third thing she says to Arjuna is empathy. I know what it means for my children to be killed. I'm a mother and I've gone through the pain of seeing my children dead. Ashwatthama is a mother, Kripi, and she is a widow now. Dronacharya is dead. The only child is Ashwatthama. I don't want our Guru Mata to go through the same suffering and pain that I've gone through. Very hard to empathize, especially when we are victims of abuse. Very tough to empathize with the pain of others, Very, very difficult, my God. You know when Lord Krishna broke the Yamal Arjuna trees, who were Nalakuir and Manigriva? I mean, he had seen those trees all through. Only on that day, why did he go through them? Because he was bound. And he knew the agony of being bound, the Acharyas say. After having understood what it means to be bound, then he thought, they have been bound for so long, I have to help them. He empathized with the suffering of the twin Yamal Arjuna trees. Brought them down to liberate them from bondage. I am tired, and I can imagine their souls are tired in these trees for so long. You know, Prabhupada used to say, Bandhya ki janibe prasava vedana. How would a lady who's never given birth to a child know what labor pain is? How can she empathize with another lady who's having labor pain? One who has gone through it can understand what the other person is going through it, you know. Sometimes married grihasthas come and tell me, Prabhuji, you give all these big sermons to us householders and grihasthas, what do you know? Huh? Huh? You have never been married, how do you know all these things? It's easy to sermonize. Come and live one day and see what our problems are, you know. It's only one grihastha can empathize with another grihastha, he said, because they go through it, they know what it means to go through it. You know, one sadhu, he was telling one grihastha, he said, many sadhus, many of us monks live together, and for years together, we can go without any verbal communication. We call it Mauna Vrat. And the Grihastha said, we have the same experience, we call it marriage. Years together, we can go without any verbal communication. My goodness. Hare Krishna. So, it takes one to know one, isn't it? When we go through it, then we can realize what it means to. If someone comes and talks to me about knee problems, I can tell you what it means. Both my knees were operated. Because I had a meniscal tear in both my knees were operated in one go. And I can tell you what pain it was and what it meant to go through it, because I went through it. If someone didn't go through a knee pain, say, my knee is paining, say, pray to Nitai. It'll go away. Arey, what did it take? Pray, man, I'm going through pain. Draupadi felt that. She's a mother, I am a mother. I have seen the pain. I don't want her to go through it. I want to forgive. Yudhishthira and everyone agreed. So there were two teams. One, the justice team, Bhima. That was a single man team. One man team, Bhima. And the other was Yudhishthira and the others, headed by Draupadi. Release him. What should Arjun do? Standing there in between. Kill or forgive? You know? When there are multiple opinions and both are right, which one to choose is the hard thing, isn't it? If there's a right and a wrong opinion, then it's easy to choose the right. But there's a right and a right opinion, which of the two rights should be chosen? Have any of you ever gone through this situation? When it's right and wrong, it's very simple to make decisions. When it's right and right, which one to choose? Here's Arjun standing there, helpless, what to do? And then Krishna further confuses him. Krishna is amazing. You know, he's an amazing person. Krishna says to Arjun, hey Arjun, look, whatever happens, you know, I can tell you. He says, you're saying he's a Brahmana, Draupadi is saying he's a Brahmana, he should be forgiven, but he's an aggressor, he killed your children. So an aggression must be killed. But Arjun, although he's an aggressor right now, he has no weapons and no chariot, so an aggressor who has no weapons and no chariot should be left. Hare? Tell one thing, na? And then says, by the way, Draupadi, you have to please Draupadi also and please me and Bhima because we want him to kill him. Arjun's bewildered. How many of you have gone through such situations in life? You know, just bewildered. What to do? What to do? And it's simple. Not all that hard many times. You know, Krishna manifested 2 extra arms that time, Chaturbhuja. With 2 arms he held Draupadi and with 2 arms he held Bhima. Because there was a tussle. Bhima was rushing, hey Draupadi, shut up. What do you know, you sentimental lady? Huh? And Draupadi is saying, Bhima, stop your boiling blood. What does Krishna do, you know? Jai Shri Radha Gokulanand ki, Jai Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki. Yeah. With 2 arms he holds Draupadi. With 2 arms he holds Bhima. That's why he manifested 2 extra arms on the battlefield that day. Held And that's also the proof that Krishna is the source of Vishnu, by the way. Where Krishna can manifest these two extra arms. Vishnu never comes back to two-armed form. Krishna can always manifest a four-armed form to show that Krishna is the source of Vishnu. Holds them and tells Arjuna, do the needful. Do the needful, what? And Srila Prabhupada comments in his commentary, in his purport, that Krishna gave Arjuna the solution without speaking a single word. Because he is in the heart as Paramatma. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Yena mam upayanti te. Krishna gives the intelligence to sincere devotees who want to do it right. Who want to do it right. And therefore, when there are many differences, we are all individuals, All individuals. If you want to make a preparation, a nice sabji, you need a lot of things. You need chili, you need ginger, you need cumin seeds, you need mustard seeds. You need sugar also, especially if you're from a Gujarati family. You need sugar to be added to the sabji. All different varieties of things are needed. You see? Each one has its flavor. Collectively, it's an incredible sabji. But individually, such varieties. Someone in the community of devotees is a chili, Red chili. When he speaks, such a tongue. Hare Krishna. And someone in the community is sugar. Very sweet. Hari Bol Prabhu. Can you please do this seva, Prabhu? Someone in the community of devotees is mustard seeds. When you put it tad, it starts, when you put it in the chonk, it's just making the spluttering and making all this sound. He's not chili, because chili is always hot. Mustard seed only makes sounds when in hot situation, not all the time. So that's the difference between chili and mustard. Everyone individual, But when put together, with no differences in that one pot, such a preparation, amazing preparation, you see. There are so many differences of opinion in management, in leadership, in devotional service, multiple opinions. For those who want to do it right, Krishna gives the intelligence from within and from without, from the Guru and from the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Krishna gives the intelligence how to resolve that situation. Arjuna took his sword, pulled his sword out as everyone was watching. Bhima was thinking, that's it, my bro is just chopping his head off. And Draupadi was upset. Arjun, come on, didn't I tell you forgive? It was me who sent you there. My children are gone. I'm telling you to forgive. Arjun pulled the sword out and took out the gem which was on the head of Ashwatthama. And as soon as the gem was gone, it was an insult. An insult is worse than death for someone who's a warrior. He's not a Kshatriya, but he was a warrior. And then all his luster was gone. It was like death. Bhima was happy that he did. He pulled out the most. It was like his life. Although he didn't kill him, it was like his life, that jewel on his head, it's gone. And Draupadi was also happy. They didn't take his life away. When in ISKCON, many times when decisions are to be made, when there are so many multiple opinions, there are 2 or 3 things that is needed. One, is there some time that needs to be given to it? Immediate, instantaneous reacting to situations only spoils things. Even in personal life, immediately reacting to situations just spoils things. We have to wait for a while for more to happen, for more to be clear. Clarity has to come before taking a decision, Because both are right opinions. It's not wrong and right, it's right opinions. How do you get that clarity to choose one over the other? Or how do we get the clarity to harmonize both? Arjuna harmonized both the opinions, forgiveness and killing together. You see? Therefore, unless the devotees in our society take shelter of sadhana, good sadhana, and chanting the holy name and through prayer to the deities, only Krishna from within, and Krishna through the words of Srila Prabhupada and through the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas will bring in clarity as in what to give priority to when 2 things are right. Any case, Ashwatthama was dealt with, and suddenly now Yudhishthira is enthroned as the emperor. Krishna decides, I'm done, I've given you the right, I want to leave. So this was chapter 7, son of Drona punished, Ashwatthama punished. Now chapter 8 begins of the first canto, where Krishna now wants to leave for Dwarka. The battle is all over, And as he leaves for Dwarka, just about to leave, suddenly Yudhishthir Maharaj feels despondent in his heart. Hey, just for my throne, I killed so many people. Just so that I get the pleasure of sitting on the throne, I killed so many people. I don't know if I did it right. He's confused. Lord Krishna also did the same. He went and apologized to Vasudeva and Devaki. My dear father and mother, I had to do what I had to do, but you had to go through so many atrocities. Sorry. Those who are devotees of substance don't take pleasure in making others suffer. Even if it's right. Even if what they're doing is right, they're apologetic. We are apologetic. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. I had to do it. For establishing dharma, I had to do it. But I just feel so sorry that people were killed. Sometime in management, we just have to shout and say things to get people to do things. But devotees have to be apologetic and feel bad that I didn't want to say it, but what to do? I had to. Had to, because there was just the pressure of, getting things done. My God. And here was Yudhishthir, feeling so bad in his heart. Krishna, amazing. One of his opulences is Vairagya, renunciation. Krishna got the battle of Kurukshetra, fought. Pandavas won. He didn't sit on the throne. Gave the throne to Yudhishthir. Krishna killed Kamsa in Mathura. He didn't sit on the throne. Gave it to Ugrasen. Krishna killed Jarasandha. He didn't sit on the throne. He gave it to his son. He was not a power-thirsty wreck. Just establishing dharma. Renounced. And Krishna, only for 11 years he played the flute in Vrindavan. For the rest of 114 years he played the conch shell. Shankha, Panchajanya. 11 years of sweetness and 114 years of establishing dharma by playing the conch shell, Yudhishthir was really, really despondent. And as he was feeling really despondent, suddenly, even before this happened, as Krishna was leaving for Dwarka, suddenly, Uttara came running, the wife of Ashwatthama. She came rushing towards Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabaho, Pahi Mam, please help me. Because Ashwatthama had sent the Brahmastra again. Why? To kill the last trace of the Kuru dynasty who was in the womb of Uttara, the son of Abhimanyu and Uttara. He was in the womb. Ashwatthama wanted to take revenge and wanted to kill him in the womb. Uttara just rushed. Krishna, Krishna, please save me. Save my child in the womb. This Brahmastra is rushing towards me. And Prabhupada explains the Brahmastra is such a powerful weapon that when it does come, it doesn't create total disaster and destruction. The Brahmastra just goes and kills the embryo within the womb. That's all, wherever it is hurled at. Not like nuclear weapons, You throw one bomb and for rest of the life, Hiroshima and Nagasaki is finished. Chernobyl disaster, one nuclear disaster and Chernobyl is suffering. Last so many years, I went to Kiev and had skin problems in Ukraine because of the radiation still coming to Kiev. Because of the Chernobyl disaster, And here is the Brahmastra. Goes only to the target, finishes that, more powerful than a nuclear weapon, and doesn't destroy anything around. Uttara said, Krishna, please protect my child. Krishna was standing on the chariot. He immediately picked up his Sudarshan. Does he need Sudarshan? No. But service means personal service. Seva means personal seva. I don't need Sudarshan, but I'll carry my Sudarshan just in case I need it. Even Krishna thinks like this. And then he's on the chariot with the Sudarshan and simultaneously enters into the womb of Uttara. Uttara, the child in the womb, is dead. Is dead by the Brahmastra, already dead. And when the child is dead, Krishna entering into the womb brings the child back to life. The child is born again in the womb, still in the womb. And when Krishna is in the womb, the child for the first time in the womb takes darshan of Krishna with Sudarshan. It's a darshan with Sudarshan. Krishna holding the discus in his hand in the womb. The child is saved. Bhakti is an art of turning curses into blessings. Bhakti is an art of turning calamities into opportunities. There is always calamities coming. And calamities are very often unstoppable. Can't stop them. They are uncontrollable. Can't control them. And they are unpredictable. Can't predict them. Here was Uttara. Unpredictably the Brahmastra just started coming towards him. She didn't know it was coming. She couldn't do anything to stop it. Unstoppable. She couldn't do anything to control it. Uncontrollable. And that's life. Several times so many Brahmastras come in the form of our serious karmic reactions, Huge Brahmastras. Unstoppable. Uncontrollable. Unpredictable. When things change, the flip of a moment, we don't know, We don't know. One fine day, suddenly there is cancer in the spine. Cancer in the spine. Where did it come from? Unpredictable. And try treatment, doesn't go still. Uncontrollable sometimes, unstoppable. Bhakti is an art of turning a calamity into an opportunity by turning towards Krishna. That is the only one thing we have. When things are all beyond control, there's only one thing we have, Krishna. Going to Krishna, going to Sri Guru, going to the Vaishnavas, because there's really nothing else left in our hands. And Uttara did that. She was the daughter of a great king, the king of Virat. She was, Prabhupada writes, the wife of a great warrior, devotee, Abhimanyu. She was a student of a great devotee, Arjuna, who taught her dancing, And she was going to be the mother of a greatest king and devotee, Parikshit. Krishna entered into the womb and saved Parikshit. A calamity was averted because of taking it as an opportunity to turn to Krishna. When Krishna sometimes pushes us off a cliff, if we have faith and we take shelter of him, either he'll catch us or he'll give his wings to fly. He'll not make us fall. Krishna will never make his devotee fall. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranashati. Hey Arjun, I am a Mathura wala. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains. I am a Mathura wala. So Mathura wala sometimes speak diplomatically, sometimes they speak little lies here and there. I am a Brajbasi. If I speak like that, people won't believe me if I say this. Hey Kaunteya, son of Kunti, you go. Hey son of Kunti, go with drums and cymbals, mridangas and kartals and bang them loudly. Arjun, Kaunteya, and declare boldly to the world, Name bhaktah pranashyati. My devotee will not fall. He may slip, but he will never fall. We may slip, but when we have faith in Krishna, in calamity and take shelter of Krishna, he'll not make us fall. So when Krishna does push us off a cliff, he'll either catch us, or give us wings to fly. Kunti came rushing. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you. This is chapter 8, by the way. Kunti's prayers. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much for saving the child in the womb and saving us, Krishna. We are not in control. You are in control. Everyone in the world thinks we are in control. When the master takes a dog for a walk, the master is thinking that I am walking the dog. And the dog is thinking I am walking the master. When a person is speaking in the Bhagavatam class, the speaker is thinking, I am inspiring the audience. And the audience thinking, what would he speak if we were not there? We are inspiring him to speak. He even thinks he's in control. One lady asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, do you say in your teachings that a wife should always obey the husband? A woman should always obey a man? Srila Prabhupada said, what did you ask? Woman should obey a man? Oh, our philosophy is, neither are we woman, nor are we man. Both woman and man can get married in Grihastha Ashram and both should obey Guru and Krishna. Neither is meant to obey each other. Both are meant to obey Guru and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said. No one's in control. Kunti started praying, Krishna, thank you. Thank you for everything. And incredible prayers. And one prayer she makes. Hey Krishna, please send more calamities. Vipadaha santutaha shashvat tatra tatra jagat guru. Oh my God. Did they go through less? Was there less on their plate? Read the Mahabharata, and that lady, what did she go through? And what did her family go through? Goodness. And she's saying, please Krishna, send more calamities. Because in those calamities, we are always sheltered. We remember you. Somehow it is like that. Prabhupada quotes in the purport that in India they say, Dukh mein sumirana sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. Prabhupada quotes in the purport that when there is distress, everyone remembers Krishna, but in good times, everyone forgets Krishna. Let bad times remain. So one devotee was so inspired by this prayer. He's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Lakshmi Man Prabhu from America. Once we were on a Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra in Puri, and he was also there. So he went to Jagannath. The Rath Yatra was going on just before when Jagannath came out, and he offered a sincere prayer. Lord, my dear Lord Jagannath, I'm praying. Let me helplessly cry for you. Let whatever happen, calamity, let me helplessly cry for you. And his passport, his money, his camera, his credit card, everything was stolen during the Rath Yatra, which was in the back straight. And then he came to Jagannath and said, not so soon, Jagannath. Kunti is ready for it so quickly. I want to cry out helplessly and purify myself, but not so quickly. Take it easy. We cannot make that prayer. Therefore I said we have to practice our level of spirituality. We cannot make that prayer. We are not ready for it. Not ready for it. Some of you may be very advanced. I am not. I can't pray. Krishna, doesn't matter if I get cancer. Okay. Krishna, please. Send more cancer. My knees got operated. I think my brain should also get operated. Please, Krishna, do. I can't. Gokulananda, don't take it seriously, please. My God, it's hard, to offer a prayer like that. But that's the level of Kunti Maharani. Such a devotee of substance the Pandavas are, and their mother Kunti. Saying, in calamity, we are always sheltered. Let more calamities come, Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada said, Lord Krishna tested me twice. Once, by taking everything away from me. And once, by giving me so much. Both were tests. One test, when everything is gone, is to crib and complain. And the second test, when everything comes, is to become complacent and relaxed. In either good or bad times, a devotee is always focused on Krishna. And then Krishna, Yudhishthira Maharaj is despondent. Now we come to chapter 9. And he says, I am done this, I don't know what to do. And Krishna comes to convince, Arey Yudhishthira, don't worry, Baba. Why are you worried? You did it because I told all of you to do it. You did it because dharma had to be established. It's all right. All of them were killed. They got their due reaction. But they were innocent men who were killed. Don't worry, Yudhishthira. I'm telling you. Yudhishthira didn't find peace of mind. When Krishna spoke the Gita on the battlefield to Arjuna, Arjuna was pacified. God is speaking, and when God is speaking, Yudhishthira is not happy. How is that? My goodness. And then Vyasdev came, the compiler of Bhagavatam, and he spoke to pacify him, still not pacified. Because Krishna had a higher plan. He told all the Pandavas to get decorated with royal paraphernalia. As they dressed up in their regal best, they put them on the chariot. And this is a time when Lord Krishna changed his travel plan. Can anyone make God change his plan? Can anyone ever make God change his plan once he decides this is what he wants to do? How can anyone make God change his plan? Sometimes they say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. When we just tell him the plans, Krishna has a good laugh. He's planning today that he'll go for Sankirtan. Hare Krishna. He's going to go for Sankirtan today. Good, go. And you just get stuck in the traffic and can't even make it there. You come back. If you want to make God laugh, they say, tell him your plans. And there's a beautiful proverb which says, write your plans with pencil and give the eraser to God. Because his enemy is going to rub it. He'll keep what he wants and take off what he wants. So before he does it, you gave the eraser and say, Krishna, your enemy is going to do it, but I surrender. Now I'm saying, lovingly do it. Don't do it painfully. Lovingly do it for me. Who can make God change his plans? A devotee. A pure devotee can make God change his plans. Who is that pure devotee? Pitamaha Bhishma. Lying on a bed of arrows. Every bit of his body is pierced. There's blood coming out of every bit of his body. There's not the space of one finger between two arrows. How many of you got acupuncture done? With all these needles all over? And when you have needles all over, even that is pricky. That's also our acupuncture shayya. There's a bana shayya for Bhishma, lying on his needles, So painful. Here he is lying. He had two desires in his mind. And although Krishna had decided to go to Dwarka, he changed his travel plan and came to where Bhishma was lying. Because of his desires. Two desires. One, my grandchildren, the Pandavas, went through so much. He wanted to see them enthroned. That's why Krishna said, dress up well like an emperor, I want to take you there. And secondly, he wanted to die seeing Krishna in front of his eyes. Lord Krishna brought the chariot there. And Krishna and Vyasdev could not convince Yudhishthir about dharma because they wanted to glorify Bhishma by making him talk to Yudhishthir. Now who speaks dharma to Dharmaraj? Who can talk about dharma to Dharmaraj? Who can talk about chess, to Vladimir Kramnik or to Vishwanathan Anand? They are deep people in chess. Who will talk to them about chess? Talk of dharma to Dharmaraj, the best in dharma. And then when they came there, Bhishma had tears in his eyes seeing. Finally there was justice done. It's a beautiful chapter. I can't even resist. We are still on the first canto. I'm supposed to go on. Still on the first canto. Can you imagine reading this book? And Srila Prabhupada's purports. My God. It's so revealing, Bhishma has tears in his eyes. Seeing Yudhishthir enthroned. Finally they've got justice. And then he talks on dharma to Yudhishthir. And at that point of time, Krishna standing there. And Bhishma starts fixing his eyes in a gaze on the beautiful form of Krishna. He had been waiting to leave his body. Ichha Mrityu. And Bhishma was so powerful, my Lord. In the first 10 days of the battle, his score was 10,000 Mahavig. Killing. Everyone was, distributing. Like we have book scores, they had warrior scores. Others were, 50 small books, 500 medium books. Bhishma every day 10,000 Mahavik straight. Maharathi warriors. Big score. Powerful man. He was a statesman. He was the head of the Kuru dynasty. A great general. A powerful Kshatriya. His mind had therefore been strewn over, Prabhupada says. His mind was strewn over so many subjects. Don't Grihasthas feel like that? That my mind is strewn over so many subjects. My child's education, daughter's marriage, electricity bills, mortgage for the house. So many subjects. That's how life is. Mind is strewn over so many subjects. And Bhishma Pitamaha looked at Krishna and started offering prayers. Iti matir upakalpita vitrishna. Let my thinking, my feeling, my willing, which was strewn over so many things, now be focused on you, Krishna. Will we be focused on you, Krishna? I want to see you in that form. You couldn't tolerate a drop of perspiration on your devotee Arjuna. Arjuna, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, did not have one drop of perspiration throughout the battle. Throughout the whole battle, not a single bead of perspiration was on the face of Arjuna. What a powerful warrior. The only one time when there was one drop of sweat that fell off his head was when Bhishma was fighting against him that day. And Krishna said, this man is making my devotee sweat. Got off the chariot and picked up the chariot wheel and started rushing towards Bhishma. And Arjun's holding his feet. Krishna, no, you've taken a vow that you will not lift a weapon on the battlefield. You can't do that, Krishna. Hold on. And Krishna rushing. Such a beautiful picture. You see that picture, my goodness. And if you read this chapter with that picture in front, I mean, you cannot miss the heart being soaked. When you see that picture and read this chapter, just amazing. And he's rushing towards Bhishma, and Bhishma just gives up. Kill me, Krishna. And Bhishma is saying to Krishna as he's lying on that, I want to see that form rushing towards me with the chakra in the hand, your hair turned ashen by the dust raised by the hooves of the horses, your upper garment flying in the air. I want to see you like that, Krishna. And seeing so, Bhishma left to achieve the ultimate spiritual abode of the Lord. That's chapter 9. Passing away of Bhishma Dev, Canto 1, And this chapter teaches the art of dying, the art of leaving, It's important to learn the art of living. Along with the art of living, there's also an important thing to do, which is the art of leaving, the art of dying. So we live in a way that we live in Krishna consciousness. One disciple of Srila Prabhupada came to Prabhupada, he was in Delhi. Prabhupada said, you start the life membership program in Delhi, And then he said, Prabhupada, I go on these DTC buses, Delhi buses, and they're so dilapidated, they're so crowded, and the drivers are just crazy, Prabhupada. He was a Western devotee. Said, they just rush here, there, everywhere, and I'm always so scared, Srila Prabhupada, therefore I don't want to go out. I'm so scared, it's so risky. If he just bumps into someone, I'll die. And Prabhupada said, but you're taking risk for Krishna. And then he said, Prabhupada, if I die in that accident, will I go back to Godhead? Prabhupada paused and said, you may go back to Godhead, but even if you don't, you will come back to Delhi to make more life members. Sometimes we get too consumed by worries that we can't do anything about. Will I be Krishna conscious at the moment of death? Will I be able to think of Krishna? Why worry? Krishna can change his plan to go to a sincere devotee like Bhishma to come and give him his memory, and Krishna can change his plan to come to a hospital in London where we are leaving our bodies, to come in our memories, unseen to anyone's eyes. All we need to do is live a life of commitment in service to Krishna. Therefore, one time when Srila Prabhupada was asked by one devotee, Prabhupada, will I be able to remember Krishna at the moment of death? Srila Prabhupada said, don't worry. If you practice your Krishna consciousness nicely, Krishna will force himself in your memory. Krishna will force himself in your memory at the moment of death. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samad bhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. Therefore, let's leave his headache to him and we'll take our headache. Our headache is how to serve. His headache is how to come, change his plan and come and take us back. Let's not meddle with his headache. We have one which is already a lot. Let's not add on more by worrying what will happen to me at the final moment. Let's worry about what we can do than what we can't. And then Krishna moves towards Dwarka. Chapter number 10 and 11 of the first canto is Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. All the residents of Dwarka welcome Krishna. All the queens, all the residents. There is a festive celebration in Dwarka. Chapter 12 of the first canto, Parikshit is born from the womb of Uttara. When the child is born, Yudhishthira is so ecstatic and in such bliss. He celebrates. And all the astrologers and the pandits come and they say what this child will be like. They compare the virtuous qualities of this child in the future to many great souls like Bali, to Yudhishthira, Bhima, and all the comparisons are made. And the Brahmanas say he'll have two names. His first name will be Vishnurat. Because he was saved by Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, in the womb, he'll be called Vishnurat, which means one who's saved by the Lord. And then, when he came out, he was doing pariksha. Pariksha means examination. Because he had seen the Lord in the womb, every person he was saying, he was going and saying, hey, examining, is he the same whom I saw in the womb? Is he the same? He was only looking for the Lord when he was born. Is he the same person whom I saw in the womb? I had that darshan, I want to get that darshan again. Therefore he got the name Parikshit, one who does pariksha or examination. He was given the name Parikshit. Chapter 13. As King Parikshit is now, rule, just born. He's just born. Dhritarashtra has not changed yet. All his sons are killed. Everything is done. Shamelessly he made a iron effigy of Bhima. And he wanted to hug Bhima. So he wanted to hug Bhima, so Bhima had put that effigy. And when he hugged that effigy, the whole effigy of iron crushed to ashes. Still he lived there. Vidura returned from the pilgrimage and gave a strong dose to his brother. How shameless are you? You're still living with them. You were the one who caused all their suffering. You still live here? You're so attached to comfort? Get out, man. It's a very strong chapter. Chapter 13, entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home, is Vidura talking to Dhritarashtra, telling him to get out of his comfort zone and now focus on the Lord. You know something quite amazing? Teenage is a time when there's a lot of time that youngsters have and a lot of energy, but they don't have any money. Teenagers have time and energy, no money. When they work and become adults, they have energy and money, no time. And when they grow old, they have time and money, no energy to do anything. Dhritarashtra, Vidura told him, come on man, leave home. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari left, and in a forest by yogic meditation, fire emanated from their bodies and they ascended to higher realms. Chapter 14 and 15 is Arjuna going to Dwarka to see Krishna, and Krishna disappeared. After finishing his earthly pastimes, Krishna disappeared, and Arjuna comes back with the queens of Krishna. Yudhishthira is seeing all inauspicious omens. What is happening? Things are not going right. There's a lot of omens around. There's something wrong. Something's wrong. He's not able to decipher what it is. On the way, the queens of Krishna are kidnapped. Krishna comes as cowherd boys and kidnaps them. And Arjuna reveals his humility in this chapter. I'm the same Arjuna, with the same chariot, with the same bow, the same arrows, the same horses. I was victorious on the battlefield against great warriors, and here few simple infidel cowherd men came and defeated me. He reveals his humility. It's not my success. It was because Krishna was on my chariot I was victorious. Now that Krishna is not there, I lost. That is called Vinaya. Vijay means victory. Vinay means humility. Along with victory, if there is humility, it is a deadly combination. Generally we find people who are victorious never give the credit to the Lord or anyone else who made them victorious, and they are so proud. If one is truly victorious, one is humble. Arjun was Vijayi, and he was Vinayi, extremely humble. The world needs combination of this. Leaders who can be victorious, but simultaneously be so humble to acknowledge that it's God who's giving us all of these things. Chapter 16, 17, 18 and 19, which is the last chapter of the first canto. Right. This is the first canto, just ending towards the first canto. These chapters, we find Parikshit Maharaj now becoming the emperor of the world. The Pandavas have retired after Krishna disappeared. They left home and hearth and ascended to the spiritual abode. Parikshit was made the emperor. And while Parikshit was sitting on the throne, Kali came there, dressed up in the guise of a king. And we know the story of the discussion between Dharma as a bull and Mother Earth as a cow. And Parikshit chastises Kali and says, get out of this kingdom, you have no place here. Kali says, but you have to give me some place. Parikshit says, you can go and reside in 4 things. Meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex. Kali says, but in your kingdom, none of these things happen. None of these things happen anyways. Said, okay, then I give you the fifth place to reside. Wherever there is unrestricted hoarding of wealth and gold, which is not used in service to the Lord, stay there. And what's Kali's job? To do two things. Bring hypocrisy and bring quarrel. Wherever these five things are, there has to be hypocrisy. There has to be dissension and quarrel. We see where there is hoarding of wealth and it's not being utilized rightly, we see how much dissension it causes. Families part, brothers fight, over wealth. Because Kali resides there. That money is not Lakshmi. That money is not the residence of Lakshmi. If money is the residence of Lakshmi, she brings harmony, not quarrel. When money brings quarrel, that means that is Kali there. And therefore Srila Prabhupada was very strong about giving these four regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, because Kali resides in these four things. And when devotees take initiation vow, it's quite amazing. They take vows and they come and they come in front of the spiritual masters and they say, one devotee said, I promise to do meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, gambling. And the spiritual master was surprised. He said, then he realized, sorry Guru Maharaj, I forgot the no. And then the spiritual master said to him, that no is a very important detail, by the way. Keep going. That no is very important detail. And one devotee came in front of the spiritual master and took a vow. Guru Maharaj, on this day of auspicious day of my initiation. He's taking a vow like this. On this auspicious day of my initiation, I vow to chant 4 rounds and follow the 16 regulative principles. So the spiritual master said, 4 is not enough, that you want to add 12 more to follow regulative principles. And one devotee came in front of the spiritual master and says, Guru Maharaj, I vow to chant Hare Krishna till my last breath. And the spiritual master said, keep breathing. Keep chanting Hare Krishna. Quite amazing vows devotees can take. You get nervous, in front of the spiritual master. Prabhupada was so emphatic about these regulative principles because Kali resides there. And then we know how Parikshit Maharaj went on this hunting expedition. And because Shamik Rishi was absorbed in meditation, Parikshit was thirsty, hungry. He had never done something like this before, and he never did something like this in the future. Only in this one episode he did it because he was the instrument of Krishna. Oh, he was so upset. That man who was never upset with anyone on a personal grounds was so upset that Shamik didn't welcome me. I'm the king of this planet. He was so angry. He picked up a dead snake and put it around the neck of Shamik Rishi. You don't do that in anger. Parikshit was not a man who would do such a stupid thing. It was a stupid thing actually. I mean, you are angry, fine. You don't put a snake around someone when you're angry. Dead snake. He's angry, fine. You kill him. He's so angry, kill him off, finish him. But no, he didn't do any of those. He put a dead snake around him. It was apparently stupid. Krishna arranged it that way. Shamik didn't even bother. And Shringi, his infidel Brahmana son, young son who had Brahmana, he realized my father was dealt with like this. He got so wild. He took waters from the river and did Achman and said, I pronounce a curse on Parikshit. That in 7 days and 7 nights from now, a snake bird called Takshaka will come and bite him to death. As he pronounced that curse and returned back home, Shamik said, you did wrong. He's our king, he's our emperor, he's a great soul, a great devotee. You can't do like this to him. But now, anyways, we should send the message. And Prabhupada says, when Brahminical power is there in the hands of people who don't have proper sense control, it creates havoc. Shringi was a classic example, and from there, the degradation of the Brahmanas started. Because of having offended a great Vaishnava like Parikshit Maharaj. News came to Parikshit that he was cursed. And in the womb, he had darshan of Krishna in his personal form. Now, he had darshan of Krishna in the form of the curse. Parikshit says, Dvija Shapa Rupo. My dear Lord, I saw your Rupa in the womb. Now I'm again seeing this Rupa. It's you. It's you who have come in the form of this curse to pull me towards your lotus feet. Krishna, I don't want anything. Took everything away and came to the banks of the river Ganges to sit and absorb his consciousness in Krishna, Why did Krishna not protect him? He protected him in the womb, right? Why couldn't he protect him from the curse? He brought him back to life. He could have saved him from the curse. Firstly, Krishna wanted to show, whoever we are, we have to die. Whether we are Parikshit or we are with someone from London. Whoever we are, we have to die. Protection is not physical. Protection is absorption in Krishna. Physical protection is not guaranteed to anyone in this world. Birth and death is just certain in this world. Jatasya dhruvo mrityur, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Everyone who's born dies and everyone who dies is born again. No one is spared of death. But absorption. Srila Prabhupada was on a plane. Upendra Prabhu was sitting right next to him. And there was emergency landing announcements. Whole plane was crumbling, All the passengers were panicky, shouting, oh my God! That's when they remember God. Oh my God, save us! Prabhupada, as the whole plane was shaking, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Said properly. He didn't say that then. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. He kept chanting, eyes closed, undisturbed. And suddenly the plane landed safely. No problem. And everyone was, hey, celebrating and excited. Srila Prabhupada saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And this Upendra Prabhu was thinking, Prabhupada didn't say a word about anything. So much must be on his mind now. As soon as he stops chanting, probably he will explain some realizations from this episode. And then I'll share the private nectar with all the devotees when I reach there. And Prabhupada kept walking after they took their baggage till the gate. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And the only one thing he asked Upendra Prabhu is, so how far is the temple from here? That is all he asked. Absorbed in Krishna, and that is protection. Maharaj Parikshit was protected from the Brahmastra, but not from the Brahmashap. Brahmastra came in the womb of Uttara, and Brahmashap was the curse of Shringi, because Parikshit was to be given Brahma Gyan, spiritual knowledge. Therefore he didn't save. And while he was in the womb, there was no one to continue the Kuru dynasty. Therefore he brought him back to life. He was the last in the Kuru dynasty. But when he is now ruled over, he already had a son Janmejaya to take over. Krishna said, time to come back to the spiritual world. Come. He came to the banks of the river Ganga, sat there, and as soon as he sat, everyone knew that his death was going to be wonderful. Sages from all the planets, Devarshi, Brahmarshi, Rajarshi Varya. Devarshi, demigods. Rajarshis, Kshatriya sages. And Brahmarshis, Brahmana sages. Thousands of them gathered on the banks of the river Ganga to witness this spectacular event. 7 days and 7 nights. As he sat there, all of these sages had differences of opinion. What should Parikshit do? What he should fix his mind on? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, all confused. That is Munis. Like doctors, multiple opinions. You do this, you take this medicine, you take that medicine, fix your mind, you fix your mind, all confused. And there, as it was all going on, walked in the 16-year-old son of Vyasa, Shukadeva Goswami. Blackish blue in complexion, not a single piece of cloth on his body, stark naked. His beautiful black curly hair coming all the way down to his shoulder, and his curls coming down his cheeks, his eyes like lotuses reaching all the way up to his ears, his nose raised, his chin strong, his neck was marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, his waist was slim, he was beautiful. He walked in with such grace, and as soon as he walked, everyone in the assembly raised up, got up, all the elderly sages including his father Vyasa, because they knew what a realized soul he was. And everyone unanimously agreed, he should be the one who should guide Parikshit. Shukadeva Goswami was put on the Vyasa Asan, the Asan of Vyas from where one speaks Bhagavatam. And as Shukadeva Goswami sat there, Parikshit sat at his lotus feet, that beautiful picture in our Srimad Bhagavatam. And he offered prayers to Shukadeva Goswami and said, unanimously everyone has asked, you should be the one who's guide. I have two questions. My two questions are, what is the duty of every human being in all circumstances? And my second question is, in particular, what is the duty of a man who is about to die? Please enlighten us. And for 7 days and 7 nights, as we will hear, he had his consciousness completely absorbed in Krishna. Second canto is where the Bhagavatam actually begins. First canto is only the scene for the Bhagavatam to begin. Second canto, Shukadeva Goswami starts speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. So in the second canto, Shukadeva Goswami starts the dialogue, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like in the Gita, the first chapter is setting the scene and the rest is the Gita. So tomorrow we will be discussing and concluding on the 10 topics of the Bhagavatam, which is this verse. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanam utaya manvantaras ishanu katha nirodho muktirashraya. The Bhagavatam discusses 10 topics. And these 10 topics are spread over Canto 2 to Canto 12. So in tomorrow morning's class, we will be covering all the cantos. Going from Canto 2 to Canto 12, and I promise you we will. If Krishna doesn't keep that promise, what can I do? But from my side, I can make a promise that we will go from Canto 2 to Canto 12. And this book is such an incredible book. And Srila Prabhupada's purports are just such amazing purports. You know, going through these books, these purports is shelter. Amazing shelter. And hopefully devotees will feel inspired to pick up this Srimad Bhagavatam and read Srila Prabhupada's purports and feel inspired in their Krishna Karya. I wish to thank all of you very much. Hare Krishna. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.